Today we are going to look at loop. And when we talk about loop, we are talking about the number of times you can run a specific lines of code. Okay, so for example, if you want to display number of maybe 1 to 10, we can use cout to do it. Okay, we can use cout to display number 1 to 10. Okay, and we can use loop to do the same thing. As far as um, we specify the number of times we want to run that code. So loop is more like repeating a line of code. Okay, a line of code, or maybe more than one line of code within a specific time. For example, we can also look at maybe displaying um, counting numbers. Okay, from let's say 1 to maybe 20. Why we prefer using loop is loop saves time. Okay, loop, it saves times, and it also makes our code simple to run. For example, let's display this. Okay, we have, let's cout, then we can display 1, then we type end line. Okay, then we have to display this. So let's run our code. And now we have 1, 2, 7. Okay, so with this one, we have an easy way of achieving the same goal, but with small lines of code. That's where the loop comes in. We have um 3 types of loops. Okay, we have the while loop, we have um the for loop, and then we have the do while loop in C++. Okay, so in this video, we are going to talk about while loop in C++. So for us to use the while loop, first we have to declare our variable. Let's say, um, let's declare a, and then let's give it 6. Okay, then we type our while keyword. Okay, then we give it a body. So here is where we write our condition. So we can say that while a is, let's say, while a is greater than 0. Okay, let's display a, and then let's add end line to it. Oh, let's see out. Okay, then we perform a decrement here. So whenever this code is being executed, subtract 1 from the current value of a. So that's what this one means. So let's run our code. So now we have a to be 6. Is a greater than 0? Yes, a is greater than 0. So it will display 6 here. Then 6 minus 1 is 5. Then the code will run again. Is a greater than 0? Because now a is 5. Yes, 5 is greater than 0. Then it will run again. It will display 5. And then it will subtract 1 from 5. Then we have a to be 4. So it will run until the a here becomes 0, and where 0 is not greater than 0, then our code terminates. Okay, so that's where our code will end. So let's run our code, and then let's see the outputs. Yes, so we have 6 5 4 3 2 1, and then there's no 0 because 0 is not greater than 0. So this is how we can use the while loop. So let's focus on how we display the and then we have plus plus. Okay, so if a is greater than 7, okay, if a is greater than 8, if a is less than 8, then let's run our code. So in the first case we used 1 2 3, so yes, so now we're having 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Yes, so we can start from here 1, and then we can say if a is less than or equal to 7, run this. So this one we will get from 1 to 7. Okay, yes, so we will get from 1 to 7. And let's change this one to let's say we want to have 100, so we can still achieve that. We don't need to do copy and paste, but we just changed the number of times we want our code here to run. Okay, so now let me explain in real life where you can use the loop, or let's say the while loop. That's what we've talked about. For example, let's assume we are asking our users to um, enter their PIN. Okay, for example, we want our users to enter their PIN, and their PIN, we are giving them a number of attempts. For example, let's say we are giving them 3 attempts, and whenever they make a wrong input, we don't need to close our system for them to open again. No, we have to give them a chance to try again. But once they reach that limit, then we will tell them that they've exceeded the number of attempts. So maybe they need to wait for maybe some few minutes, like how our smartphones does, that's iOS or Android phones does. They gives you the number of attempts. If you fail to get the correct pin, then they will lock the phone for some minutes or hours. Then after that, they will give you the chance to try again. So that's where you can use your um loop or your while loop. So let's look at that scenario. So let's delete everything here. So let's declare an attempt. Okay, so let's make it number of attempts. Let's make it 3. Okay, and then let's make it pin. So let's make it user pin. Let's make it this. So now we can display cout. Sorry, enter your pin. Okay, then we can type cin user pin. Okay, so here we know that let's display the user pin here. So your pin is, then let's display user pin. So let's run again. Okay, so let's type 1111 and press enter. Yes, so now this is the user pin. So let's set int correct pin is, let's make it 1 2 3 4, and let's terminate it. Okay, so here we can decide to use this if, okay, if we can decide to use if correct pin equal user pin, then we can display logged in. Okay, else then we can display incorrect pin. Okay, so now let's run our code. Okay, so now we have enter pin. We can enter 1 2 0. Yes, so now you see that we've terminated our code. The user needs to run the code again. So this is what you want to prevent. So what we can do is we can use a while attempt here. Okay, so while this code, okay, so while, let's say, attempts, the number of attempts, so here is the number of attempts, so if 3. Okay, so let's add user attempts, which is 0. Okay, so while, okay, let me make this, while user attempt is less than, okay, 3, so then we will have user attempts plus plus. So if the user make a mistake, so then we will run our code here. So let's run our code again and see. Okay, so let's type 1 1 2. Okay, so now let's add end line here so that we can move to the next line. Okay, so now let's rerun our code again. Okay, so 1 1 2. Okay, so 1 1 3 1 1 2, and now you see we tried 3 times and we couldn't so we couldn't log in. So now let's run our code again, and then let's type 1 2 3 4. Okay, so it says logged in and then our code terminates. So it means that the break here means we don't need to run again. Okay, so the switch, when we are dealing with switch, we talked about break, and with break it's more like return. Okay, any codes in our project will not run again, so it terminates our project. So right now let's run our code again, and then let's type 1 2 5. Sorry, let's type 1 2 5. It's incorrect. And then let's type 1 2 3 4, and now our code terminates. So because you've successfully logged in. So this is how you can use a loop, specifically that's while loop in C++. In case you have any questions, please leave it at the comment section and then we will attend to it. And if you've not subscribed to our channel, please kindly subscribe to our channel. See you in our next video. Bye bye.